Okay, in this tutorial we're going to talk about the program DAZ. DAZ is kind of extension to Bryce. So what I want you to do is I want you to go into your My Documents where you saved your um, Bryce, and I want you to open it back up. Now when you come in, you're going to see that there are two files that have been saved. If you open up this one, it's going to open it up as a picture and you won't be able to edit it. So what you want to do is you want to open up the one that ends in BR5. And the BR5 stands for the program Bryce 5.5. So I'm going to double click on that and I'm going to open it back up. And it takes a second. Kind of the more things that you put into the file, the bigger it gets and the longer it takes to open and the longer it takes to save. So I on my original file didn't save that one, so I tried to recreate one that was somewhat close. So within Bryce, the thing about Bryce is your pictures that you're putting on there, the different things that you're creating, the objects that you're creating. You can color them, you can make them bigger or smaller, but you can't really move them. And move them, I mean move their individual parts. Well, the cool thing about using DAZ is you can put them into basically the pose that you want, and then you can import them in here. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the create, which is kind of takes you back to your basically your home, and then you'll see that this S shows up. Now if I'm on edit, you see that it's not here. If I'm on Sky and Fog, it's not here. But if I go to create, if I click on this, this is going to open up that extension. It's called DAZ 3D. And when you open this up, it takes you to basically this blank canvas here. Um, and when I get in here, I have, and you'll have to excuse me because this was acting a little slow when I was just on here, but you have basically some objects that you can import in. And let's see, so I'm going to hope this works. Again, it was a little slow earlier, and it looks like it's not responding right now. I'm going to give it a second. Um, but what will happen is you have basically some objects: animals and sea, buildings, castles and ruins, dinosaurs, dragons, fantasy creatures. The list goes on and on. I cannot click on it right now. There we go. So it's finally showing up. So I have props, objects, robots, the baby, the freak, which are just different. This is, I don't know, just a mythical creature. I want something that goes with my picture though. So let me see. A lot of these, if I'm looking, could have something like the Hydra coming up. I might go to animals and see what is there. Killer whale. There's a marlin. That'd be a big marlin. Moray eel. I want something that's kind of a fantasy creature. So let me go down here. I'm going to try to find one of these. So maybe I'll put in the Hydra. So when I click on the Hydra, it's going to actually put it into DAZ. And again, it looks like it's taking a second. You can see it's loading. And when it loads, it's going to come up almost there. And it's pretty big. So I'm going to zoom out just by rolling my mouse. And you can see this thing is pretty big, kind of a mythical creature. But the cool thing about this is I can move its individual parts. You can see when I put my cursor on it, it kind of draws a box around it. What I want to do is I want to click up on this. It almost looks like a bone. When I do that, I can come and you'll have to excuse me, so I can move its individual parts just by clicking on that portion of it. So if I want to move the head, if I want to bring, maybe I have it like it's going to start flying. And if I choose this, this lets me rotate. So if I want to rotate, let's see, if I want to rotate this area, I can do that. You can kind of rotate the individual parts Let me see if I can get this head to rotate. There we go. So I can actually, instead of just moving it up and down, let me see if I can grab it. So by clicking on the green here, I should be able to rotate it this way or this way. By clicking on the blue, if I can get the blue. When the blue turns to yellow, oops, got the wrong one. But you kind of can see what. Let me see if I can get that now. See, I can rotate it, so it's kind of turning its head this way. So when you get a pose that you want, it's pretty easy. All you have to do, let's say this is how I want it. All I have to do is I just hit the X, and it's going to take a second, and then it puts it in. And then once you get in there, you're going to resize it. So I'm going to move it because I want it to be moved. I want to maybe move it up like it's flying. And then I'm going to resize it. Now I'm going to pull it from the corner because I want to make it pretty big. And I can see what color it is. But you can see now that it brings it in. Now the color again is going to be dependent on the sky and fog color. So maybe I'm going to change that out. I'm going to hit escape to get back to my wireframe. I'm going to go to sky and fog, and then I'll pick this one and see how this one makes it look. So you can see this is the color it's going to be. Now from here I can also rotate it. So if I want it to rotate down, maybe it'll be rotated more like it's going to be flying at them. But I can't, this is how the figure is going to stay. I can't move the head, once it's in here. I can't move the feet. So if you don't like the way it looks, you have to delete it out. You have to go back in to DAZ and kind of start over. But I want you, to be able to use DAZ. There's a bunch of figures in there. And again, it creates more realism because you can change the figure to the pose that kind of fits your picture. Okay, hope this helps.